It's the financial management meeting. Call this meeting to order. In front of you, we have our agenda. If we could have the prayer up. You're always good, Rosa.
Lord, we come before you at this time asking for wisdom. We're always in search of wisdom from above, because we know it is pure, right in your sight. Help us to look into the affairs and the welfare of this county and do the things that are right in your sight. Lord, we are all we ask this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. We have an agenda as item B. I'd like to make a change and move the, under new business, we have purchasing issues with Hendersonville Library as item A. And I would like to, without opposition, move the Hendersonville Library A and B to a future meeting. They cannot make it due to the conflict with their library meeting at this time.
So we'll move.
I would just like to move it to old business.
Okay.
And we will not address it today. Second, we'll just take, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll just move that to the future. Does anyone have any other items they'd like to add to the agenda or change? This time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have an agenda. Recognition of the public. We have none. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have approved minutes. Report of the chairman. I would like to add, I'd like to speak on an item. I watched part of the video from last time, and there was a citizen that spoke, and they were concerned about the internal control that we have in the county as far as ensuring that we couldn't set up fake payments and such as that. And I would just like to speak on that item for anyone watching this video or for this committee. I'm very familiar with the comptroller's audit. They thoroughly review all our procedures for internal control, and I don't have any concerns whatsoever regarding employees setting up fake employees or fake documents. I know that those internal controls are reviewed by the comptrollers every year with questionnaires, and if you'd like to speak to that, I'm sure they ask you questions all the time. So I feel certain that we are covered in that area, and that is to speak directly to that citizens' concerns that they don't ever get answers. So I wanted to speak to that. Another item that I wanted to speak to this committee, because I think this committee needs to consider what I'm going to talk about more than anything. Yesterday, I looked at an audit of one of our municipalities. We had given out ARPA money. One of our subcontractors for one of our ARPA pieces we gave to that city, and their audit report came back with significant deficiencies in the internal control. And I would like to ask our finance department just to go and take a closer look to make sure that that ARPA money that they have is being, that they're crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, because we as a county don't want to be getting a big bill later for that amount of money. Ms. Browning, could you tell us how much it is? Or do you?
$521,000. And we have reached out to our consultant out there, Matrix, today, and they are planning on conducting audits of all of our audit programs no later than February. So that would be included.
Okay.
How many of those programs do we have?
It's several different projects.
So we're going to audit all of them?
That's my understanding, yes.
Yes, we are paying our paramedics a significant sum of money. And my understanding is in their contract is they're going to make sure that we do all the right things, that we're not going to have a big surprise on the back end and we're going to have to pay the federal government. So they're on the line also with us, hand in hand.
So what's the deficiency, or at least the proposed deficiency, was it that we understated or overstated grant amounts, were they misused, or did we?
No,
It's the parameters in which they're being used, that's what's.
Oh, okay, that's
Use
what's
of the budget.
okay.
and
But
there,
it's not necessarily the ARPA funds.
Yeah.
There were many deficiencies on payroll and internal controls, their accounts receivable. It would be various items. It wasn't just ARPA.
there's significant issues in question. So I just wanted to bring it to this committee's attention, and I'm glad to hear that our paramedics going to do that for us as per their contract. We pay them if they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. So, are we going to have any money left? That's a budget question from our paramedics. I know we set aside a lot for them.
We did, but we did reduce that amount at one point, based on their estimate. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We can revisit. Thank you.
Still have a ways to go.
And then, under my report also is the candidate search update. I have not been involved in that, and I missed the last meeting, so I'll leave that. I believe the mayor and Mr. Kerr have something to say on that item.
Yeah, I'll let the mayor talk.
And that would be the end of my report. For the mayor.
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Chairman. I do want to update everybody on where we are with candidate search. I got the contract today from Sumner Consulting. It's gone through the review of legal, so we are ready to sign it. However, before I sign that, I want to talk to this committee because we have got a candidate that has emerged that brought me a resume that checks, in my opinion, is a quality candidate to at least pursue and then talk about if he will be a good fit for us. So what I propose, what I'd like to do is just take a 2-week pause, 2.5 week pause on executing the contract with Sumter, and then let's just vet this candidate. And when I say vet this candidate, what I'd like to do is a background search on him. And then I would like for him to have the opportunity to meet with the finance department, to meet with county commissioners, and to meet with constitutional officers and department heads so that everybody gets an exposure to who this gentleman is and what he can bring to the table and the possibilities of him serving as our next finance director. I think it's important that we all have some input on this, and, you know, barring any discussion of 81 versus 2012, I want to try to make this process as transparent as possible and include as many opinions as possible. And then if we get to the end of this 2.5 weeks and we say, okay, well, we spent some more time with this gentleman and we don't think he's a fit, then by all means, let's move forward. But if we do think he's a good fit, then I would like to move forward as quickly as possible to get him in place. That would, and again, we go 2 routes with this. If we want to operate under the 81 Act, y'all have the final voice on that. If we want to operate under the 2012 Act, County Commission. I present the candidate, the County Commission has the voice on that. So I think what I'm trying to do through this process is morph it into one comprehensive project here to bring this guy forward. And I would encourage this with any candidate, even if we can move forward with Sumter. I would encourage that same process, that we involve more than just this committee, and we involve commissioners and department heads and constitutional officers. So,
Would you have a resume for this guy?
yeah, I sent one to you by email, but I do have a copy of one right here. Be happy to share with you. Does anybody else need a copy? Okay.
If you have to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so, So that's, I don't know if we need a motion per se or a vote. It's not an agenda item. I think it can basically just be a consensus of the body that we continue down this path right now. And, we're not saying no to Sumter. We're just putting a pause on it for just a couple of weeks. And if that's the general consensus of this body, I think we move forward in that direction. And then I will talk to Warren, is expecting my phone call tomorrow, the president of Sumter Consulting. I met with him on Monday. It was an impromptu meeting. We didn't have it scheduled. He just showed up in my office. And I explained to him my thoughts, and what I was going to do today is bring this to this committee. And then I will call him tomorrow and let him know where we are. And that ends my report.
I've got a couple of questions for the law director. Have we issued an award letter for this, or do we know yet? It was a bid, right? Does that legally bind us to move forward if the contract has not been signed?
I've checked some other situations that have unfolded here. If we haven't executed a contract and we do not have a PO, which is the circumstance at this time, then we should be able to walk away from it. Unless Beth knows some of this better than I do. So, and on the other part of this equation, you all did vote to approve, move forward, get the PO to basically go full steam ahead on this. So this will take some sort of motion to bring it in. So I do recommend that.
Well, I just for what it's worth, I agree that, I've looked at the resume and also understand the technical aspects of this job. Is he a perfect candidate? No, I don't think anybody's a perfect candidate. Would this person bring some strengths to the table that may be hard to find elsewhere? Being comptroller's office for 16 years, audited Sumner County, understands the ins and outs. That might be hard to duplicate. And I think the value of that contract with Sumter is around $30,000. Is that right? I personally think it would be a good idea to pause for a couple of weeks just to see. And we, like I said, Mayor said we haven't done the background check. We don't know what we don't know, other than what we read and what we've learned so far. So I am in favor of at least moving forward. This is not obligating us to hire anybody, right? It's to say we're gonna do a little bit more diligence on this one candidate. So I think it's an okay idea to do that.
Are you making a motion?
I'll make a motion that we do that. Yeah, move forward with the vetting process for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? I do have one item that, before I take the final vote, that I'd like to add to this, and it's just the logistics of this. We are looking down the road of even slower government as we look into Thanksgiving and Christmas. So as far as the idea that this person could meet with people in the next 2 weeks, I think that's a little bit optimistic because we're looking at Thanksgiving. I think that we're looking at a little bit longer time. I'm not opposed to that. I'm just throwing that out there where we're looking at a holiday, and we all know how that falls into a big black hole.
So my goal.
Yeah.
So my goal is to set this meeting up for next Friday, not this Friday, but the next Friday, and send the invites out pending the review of this committee. Send invites out to everybody and encourage them to come here on Friday afternoon. And what I'd like to do, this is my thoughts, 3:30, have a meeting with the finance department, and then let the finance department meet, ask any questions they may have, and then at 4 o'clock have a meeting down here in 112 and invite anybody that wants to come our county commissioners. I've seen county commissioners and our, elected officials. I invite them at 4 o'clock, come in and meet with you and ask any questions they may have for you. And that will give us it, and in the interim, I will work on the background check. I can't imagine anything coming back, but I've been surprised before. But, you know, I would think with 16 years with the comptroller, he's probably got a pretty clean record.
So, Mayor, would you be able to share the results of that background check before that meeting?
Be happy to.
Okay.
Be happy to. Yeah, I'll share them as soon as I get them, through legal. I'll do it through legal. That way I make sure that I dot all my i's and cross the t's and don't just start emailing everything out.
I think it's
So,
a little too condensed. I would like to give the finance staff a different day, if that's at all possible, for the candidate, more time than 30 minutes. And then them have a day or so to reflect and then get back to us
I'll talk,
privately even. I mean, whatever they think at 3:30 to 4 o'clock, they're not gonna.
I'll talk to
Let's
our
just-
interim
if we
director
work
about
out
that. I'll be happy to talk to her about it.
Nothing so condensed.
Again, these were my thoughts, and always subject to hearing other ideas, so I'll be more than happy to talk to Beth and maybe work out even a different day. So,
So, yeah, if we could work on.
Madam Chairman?
We have a motion on the floor, I understand.
I just have a comment, if I could. Whatever you all vote on and decide with this date, I will need to know, because if it's gonna involve more than one person at this table, I'll have to notice it, so we can do the 112 like the mayor was suggesting. Just keep me in the loop. I may not need to be there, but I'll need to make sure it gets posted.
Any discussion on this? Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and a second from Mr. Ellis. Any more discussion? All in favor? Waiting 2 weeks, aye. Any opposed? So we will put it on pause, and we will revisit this issue at our next meeting.
thank you.
Are you finished with your report, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chairman, I hate,
Yes, sir.
this is what I get paid to do. You
Yes,
just
sir.
approved a pause for 2 weeks, so come 2 weeks and 1 day, that means by the last vote, we send out, get a PO and we send it out.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
you
Lawyer.
might wanna loosen that up, how you phrase it.
I do appreciate your diligence. You are exactly right. Can we have a discussion on this item?
Was the motion for 2 weeks, or was the motion?
I said 2 to 3 weeks, is what I said.
But that's the problem.
Maybe we
Lawyer,
go to
is-
3 weeks then.
We need to go into our next meeting. We need
So
to.
everybody voted for it,
So,
right, so let's just have somebody make
Bob
a
was
motion to
silent.
withdraw.
Bob was silent, he didn't voice.
Yeah, just, if somebody can make a motion to revisit this, and it was on the prevailing side, then we can go through this again.
Yes.
Motion to revisit.
Second.
All in favor? Mr. Carter, keep it simple. Like you
So
decided.
realistically, Mayor, and I appreciate what Madam Chairman said about the holidays and Thanksgiving coming up. And again, I know we got budget staring at us down the road, and I'm not sure you're handling it, but you can tell us a lot of other priorities yourself. Is 3 weeks enough to do what needs to be done with this candidate? You think so?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we need to move on this quickly. I think we can get the candidate, we can get the background check, we can get the candidate in front of people, within a 3-week period, and, make that decision if we want to run with this one, or if we want to run with Sumner.
Can we, let me throw something out, I'm not making a motion, this is going to have a question. Can we maybe propose 2 dates? One to visit with finance, and one to visit with anybody else?
I'll be happy to do that.
That way,
I'll get
we're
with,
not caught up in that, I have more quality detailed discussions.
yeah, I'll get with Beth on that and see a good day with finance when all of them are there, and do that as quickly as possible.
So to just amend the motion is to pause for 3 weeks? allow the candidate, I'm sorry?
I believe the 3 weeks is the same exact thing. If we run into trouble and we don't make it 3 weeks.
Do we need date certain, I guess is the question. Do we want to say, we're just going to pause?
If you don't make it date certain, then you will have to reconvene to say pull the trigger.
Yes, I think we reconvene in December, and nothing happens until we
Then
get together, and then we'll know together.
I'll make a motion
To
to
pause the next
pause
meeting.
the search, allow the time to vet the candidate with finance and other, commissioners and elected officers.
And give the mayor authority to coordinate the meetings.
Correct.
Can I amend that and just, ask to be involved in that also? I'd like to know what the scheduling is. I want to make sure, I mean, I know that.
Oh, I've sent the schedule out there.
Yeah, but if we can talk, well, we can do that offline.
Does that seem workable for everybody? Okay. Did we cross the T's and dot the I's?
I think
Okay.
We got the T's.
Can we have a second?
Second.
All in favor in revisiting this at our next meeting as we look into this candidate further before starting with the recruiting firm? I'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Loderick. And for pointing out that Mr. Mayor, do you have anything else under your report?
No, Madam Chair.
Without any opposition, if I could ask, Mr. Sheriff, did you need us? We don't want to keep you if you came because you just wanted to come and visit with us. Thank you. We'll let him.
Bring donuts.
Wife
I
kick
was
you out of the
just going to
house.
take care of him if he needed something so he could get back to business. Report of the trustee, I saw that you handed this out.
Yeah.
A report.
There's no sitting right there.
Oh, here, right here.
Oh, Mr. Law Director has something.
Yes, madam. Just two quick things. One, it just came out of budget, which I don't anticipate will have any problems in commission, but there will be an audit report coming you all's way every 6 months, and it'll be an internal audit of the opioid grants and funding. And just to give you all a heads up, that's something that will appear on your agenda every 6 months.
I would like to address that.
Okay.
I was sitting there, I do not understand why they pointed it towards financial management. To bring the rest of the committee up, this is an audit of the opiate grantees funding. Instead of, there was discussion on pointing that to the audit committee. Instead, legislative thought that financial management should handle it. But I'm not sure if I wouldn't like to deflect from this committee, because to me it feels like it should go to the audit committee, because it is an audit of the opiate funding. And I mean, I could be completely wrong, y'all, I'm asking for discussion.
I don't have a problem with that, but this isn't an agenda item, so I don't know what to tell you about moving forward with it. I was just updating you on what has happened.
What would be our mechanics?
Well, and this is a resolution. It's going to go to the floor, so that would be the time to make an amendment on the.
Well, golly, I guess we'll just look at the audit of the opiate.
Or if they may, people may agree with you.
Floor in the commission.
She got moving.
Yep.
So, with the responsibilities of this committee, does this committee, I'd like to ask, do you feel that that's an item that belongs under our responsibilities or with audit?
It's an audit to me.
Say audit myself.
I'll bring it up at full commission.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then the other thing was I just want to reiterate this because of the second lawsuit, but any conversations other than one of you at this table with any prospective candidates cannot happen unless I'm in the loop so that I can do a proper notice. So be very careful of that.
You said more than one of us talking to?
And that's all I have, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Report of the trustee. She sent her report.
Oh,
You were talking.
I have a comment just on the trustees. We've spoken about this issue back and forth for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. The need for the county to have an investment committee. And we never got it off the ground, if everybody would remember. I think it was circling back around that if there was to be an investment committee, that would fall back on this committee to be the investment committee also, because that's where it lies right now. Does anyone have any insight into how we could move forward with that?
Well, I think, if I recall, we had a pretty substantive conversation about this. And I think you were looking to see if we had any previous charters or anything on file. I was under the impression at one point we did have one. It just never really got it.
Because I don't recall, I wouldn't know where to even start.
That's kind of what I'm trying to.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Trying to close the loop to see. David said at one time he thought we had an investment committee, and I had asked for the charter, but nothing appeared. So, and I guess I'm to move forward on something like that, and I agree with Madam Chairman. I think that this committee probably can serve as the investment committee, but I just think we need the structure behind it, the charter, the responsibilities, the things that we need to be doing, frequency of meetings, those things. And I think that involves Cindy in the committee itself, since she handles most of the funds for the county. But I'm with you. I'm in favor of trying to pull that together.
Maybe I can ask you, in your prior experience, did y'all have a formal investment committee?
No, because I think most of the time when I was here, interest rates were so negligible, it didn't really.
Well, they're headed that way now, so.
Yeah. Well, we just had that brief ride.
Pile's gone, they'll be
In
headed
my
that way.
early days, we did. But it is financial management with the community, purchasing of the community, investment with the community. They had 3 separate agendas that they met, and then
When I was chair,
I would like that.
when I was chair, so this would be 2014-15, when I was chair of financial management, we had those titles just like that, but we had consolidated the agenda into one.
yeah, prior to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so, so that's prior to 2014.
And part of that was the purchasing committee, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we did. It was 3 separate committees, but they weren't all the same people. There's 3 agendas that they just got back to back.
Value of the purchasing committee. So, we deal with a lot of purchasing things that to me could be on the lane of the purchasing committee. Allow us to get a little bit more granular in terms of purchasing policies and those things. So I think it's some value.
And I'd like to speak specifically to the purchasing. This committee, we only hear exceptions when something's gone wrong, whereas when I review what other counties are doing, their purchasing committees are actually doing spot checks on big purchase orders and stuff as they go through, and keeping oversight and providing more transparency also. I would say,
honestly, with the amount of problems that we've had with purchasing, I feel that should possibly be broken out. I mean, we've always just kind of, don't do that again. And that's the way it's always been. And I agree with you, it needs to have some spot checking done, because that's the only way in which we're going to either stop or alleviate these problems.
So the purchasing committee to me would be to look at the foundation of policies that's maybe a little more granular than this committee typically get into. I mean, to me, there's a lot of back office policy things that we need to look at and sync up with a purchasing policy or a purchasing committee to do that. But the goal is for us not to be dealing with exceptions, to deal with it upfront, have the goals. Your point is exactly where we need to be. Is to have that oversight control.
if I could, I'd like to make a motion. There are 2 pathways here. The first item is, I feel like we need, because we've had so many problems with the purchasing, definitely a more focus on purchasing, especially as we're growing. So I think we need a purchasing committee, and I think we need an investment committee. Now, the question is it this committee? I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be back to back because I'll just be honest, we get tired of hearing it over and over and we get kind of numb to it. I think that some different perspectives might be good. I would propose that I would make a motion that we ask Committee on Committees to form a purchasing committee and an investment committee for us. We could serve on it, and I definitely believe that we should put 2 of our members on each of these committees. So what I'm proposing my motion would be for 2 of our memberships to serve on each of these committees. How many of us are there? 7? Anybody want to raise their hand to volunteer for another committee?
What do you mean?
So,
You need one of those 2 committees, right?
So we'll have 2, my motion would be to create a purchasing committee and an investment committee. I think the makeup of them should include 2 members of this committee on each of those when we go to do it. And that way we'll know what's going on.
Would that be a recommendation to committee on committees, or would that be legislative, or would it just be something where you created an ad hoc?
No ad hoc.
You want a permanent?
We're growing, and,
Yeah.
and these problems are not going away.
I guess I was just thinking, like, is that something that legislative, if that's the law director, would that be legislative committee on committees?
If we're we're basically creating a standing committee, so it
It'll
would have
go
to
from our
go from
request
legislative
to legislative,
Mhm.
and then committee, and then commission,
commission,
and then committee on committees can fill it.
correct? Based on the parameters that commission outline in the resolution.
So I think that's where you would say, like, our recommendation would be to.
Exactly. So that's where I'm at right now, which is recommendations of what I would like to see us asking them.
Yeah.
Do y'all have some input with this? Are you ready to move forward with this? Yes, sir.
Do you want me to research what we've done in the past and report back to you, or do you
No.
want to just run with it?
No, I've spent years on this commission waiting for, like, what do we do in the past and what should we do in the future?
That's
I
fine,
think we
I
should
just
just
want
do
to make
something.
sure.
So that would be the things that I would want to see on this committee is at least 2 of us on each of those. It'd be different ones of us. But what other recommendations would we like to ask for legislative to put on there?
How many?
How many? How many do you think it should be? Purchasing.
Odd number, probably 5.
5, everybody? Do we want, it all commissioners? Because I would like to maybe see on the purchasing, I mean, I guess the committee itself, we would have the purchasing person from finance show up, but they wouldn't have a vote, but that's fine. So 3 commissioners? I hear from the commissioners, they don't want more committees. But
This is an area where we can get hung out to dry very quickly.
as far as we need more oversight in this area, I hope the meeting. So committee to 5, and we would want 2 members of the Financial Management Committee on it. And we send it to legislative and let them work something up, and then it goes to commission, and then we see if committee on committees can fill it, and hopefully by January, committee on committees will fill us out of 2 new standing committees. So all of that would be my motion. Sorry, Ms. Note Taker. Any input?
So, just so I'm clear, 2 separate committees, at least 2 members from this committee on each of those separate committees. And the recommended size of the committee is 5 for each of the purchasing and investment.
We'll also need a scope for the committees. We can pull the scope from the prior ones and send it to legislative. I can take care of doing that if you'll give me the, I'll amend it to ask you to give me the authority to come up for a scope of these committees. You can trust me to do that.
I'll go along with that.
Can I have a second on my amendment?
It's already seconded.
Okay.
Is there, I guess my question, are there limits on the number of standing committees
As you've given me a research project, so I'm not sure, so we're gonna run with what you're trying to do now, and I'll let you know, because if it can't
I'm
be
just trying to
done,
what the obstacles would be.
if it can't be done, I'll just have to shut it down. But for the sake of the motion right now, we're talking about, the motion is to send to legislative to create the investment committee and a purchasing committee, each with 5 members and each with 2 members from the financial management committee. Okay.
Well, I think you'll have to change your standing rules because I think it's specific on the number of standing committees.
Well,
It has a name.
But I mean, it's amendable.
I mean, I'll take a look at all that, yeah.
And it goes back to the basis of this question, do you think it still needs to sit with this committee? I don't think it's been productive. I appreciate your tenure on the commission, Mr. Langford, but I don't think it's been productive, merging them together. We just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to pick it up.
I mean, I think my only question would be is with the new finance director coming in, is that something we could talk about? You know, 'cause, I mean, I know like where we get errors on the school side is usually when we get new bookkeepers, new personnel, and they just don't know. So some of it's, once we train people, it's usually not that we don't have repeated errors, but usually it's not the same.
Which we've talked about that, creating more comprehensive training programs, especially with the librarians.
And that's underway now.
So that will be underway.
So when I look at other counties, I've watched their meetings specifically, and they sit down and they review, like, what is the ongoing to provide more transparency. I mean, I'll just be honest, I haven't dug through, and I think Cindy Williams is probably doing a great job, but I've not done an investment committee review of what she's doing, and sit down with her. And I'd like some people to focus on that, and also focus on what we're doing in purchasing. And we may come back and find that they're meeting for 10 minutes every 3 months, and that'd be great.
Well, that would tell me we're probably not doing it with due diligence. It's like 10-minute meeting. So while you set up the meeting, you're going to get 10 minutes.
We'll see how it comes out.
Well, so my expectation would be a little bit more detailed than that.
And Eric is gonna research, what would be wrong with him while he's doing this, looking at what has been done in the past, just to see maybe something that'd be a good idea. But I agree with your points, but I mean, it's something that, give him time to look at it, and maybe when our next meeting, I mean, is that enough time to kind of research what's been done in the past?
Yeah, and even if we can't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't speak to it. I did. I've been to the clerk's office, and I've read back through the 1980 files when we actually first were creating different things and read boards, due to a lot of comments that's come up on commission. And we have had them, and it has been this membership. But I just don't see us moving forward on it.
Yeah. I'd also add to that, I'd love to see what these other counties are doing. We can bring examples of what other counties are doing. So bring all of that as a comprehensive package, for something else to review and look over.
Earlier you were speaking with Mr. Carr. He runs the purchasing down there in here, and I watched one of his meetings, and you know how he is. It's always interesting to watch him in action.
He is very,
So,
that's a good word for him.
Yeah, interesting.
We
If
have,
y'all haven't had that opportunity, I would encourage you to watch
Joe's a
Mr.
good guy.
Carr.
we have a motion on the floor, so,
I made the motion.
and it was seconded, I believe.
All in favor? Aye.
Well, so you do want to go ahead and create them, you want to send this to legislative? Okay.
Based on your research, of course.
That is possible. You can throw it out at legislative if something pops out.
Whether that stops y'all's about a 50-50 shot.
well, I mean, we look at this committee right here. This committee is on the agenda of the commission. This is supposed to be a standing committee also. However, we're not represented on legislative. That's one of the big problems we have with how this is all organized. And so that's bastardization of the process right there.
You say organized, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about, it's on the agenda as a standing committee. However, there is no representation of this committee at legislative, which there should be. The chairman should be on legislative. It's not. Never has been.
Are they part of the charter? Is it in the charter that way?
In the standing rules,
Should be.
if there's a conflict, and
Yeah, there's a conflict.
there's
in there.
and then the commissioners are in flux. So, I don't have any questions about the trustees' report. Does anyone else move forward? Report of the finance director.
I was asked for the transition plan update. Just what David had in last month's agenda, the items highlighted in green have been completed. Items in yellow should be completed in the next 90 days.
Excellent. Do y'all need some additional resources, or how are you working out these resources?
We're okay right now. Our difficult season really wrapped up January, February. But with this finance director, church goes through, well, it sounds like it may, that may be taken care of, I think.
So are there any, key items pending, like revenue recognition? Anything that is on the burner that David was working on, that now you're working on, that you feel that
Yeah, I'll tell you.
that's where you're spending most of your time? Where is that right now? Where are you spending most of your day? Is that just administrative stuff, or are you actually inside these models looking at revenue?
I have not had a chance to look at revenue at this point. It was his recommendation that I do that monthly right now. A week and a half in.
Okay. But, I mean, back to her point, and I know you know, David created a big hole in terms of just expertise and knowledge. And maybe this candidate works out, maybe he doesn't. And we have to assume at this point he's not. Just in terms of planning, we got to understand what you need today. Look 30 days out, 60 days out, get close to budget. Any pressure points that you feel like you need for us to address? Not today.
Almost updated is next on the agenda, and I would like to put the same rules and let Annette fix to that, if she's on that.
I'll motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Talk to us.
So I don't know exactly what you want updated on, if it was in regards to the consultant.
Can I ask you specifically? So with pronouns, we always seem to have a stopping point. Somebody along the way is like, where are we at? Who's holding the ball right now?
Which ball?
Yeah, how many balls?
Yeah.
If we could make one ball move and move forward, who would be holding that ball? I mean, I didn't really say which ball, but who would you like to work with?
So the consultant, has not been able to do anything yet, because there was an authentication update, that was not able to be done. And it took Kronos, months to figure out why our system was failing. I did it in train with no problems. They had problems in production, and I couldn't refresh my train version for my consultant until that was taken care of. So they finally figured out that it was something to do with our telestat. It was not updated. We do not have anybody who focuses on telestat. EMS, it was just kind of thrown at them. I don't have any experience with telestat, just the little things I've tried to figure out for them. But my understanding, that was before my time, so my understanding was that was supposed to be all under EMS. They finally figured out what that problem was, and telestat was in the process of being moved up to the cloud. So I had to wait for that, which wasn't until the end of September. So once that happened, I was cleared to go ahead and try to do my authentication upgrade, and it failed again. So I created tickets, reached out to as high up in management as I could get. And it took them forever to figure out, I don't even know what, they didn't tell me what the problem was, but they finally figured it out. And I was able to do that update, and that was a few weeks ago. I should have put the date down. So at that point, I was able to try and refresh my training version for the consultant. There was an error. Nobody could explain that to me. They finally did. I finally got it done today. And I gave the consultants their login information for the UAT version. During all of that, the sheriff's office had policy updates for 3 different departments for their schedules and whatever. So I worked on that myself in an environment that wasn't really stable to work in. So I have built it in live. It's now been transferred to refresh or to UAT, and I'm trying to test it because it needs to go live on Monday. I feel like I'm there, but
On your initial problem, you said you reached to management. Which management?
In UKG.
IT, what? Consultants.
No, Chrono,
Chrono.
UKG, the company that runs.
The telestat, that's what I was talking about.
Telestaff is part of their, is under the umbrella of
Chronos.
It's changed names so many times. It's Dimension, Workforce, whatever. There's a lot of different kinds.
So you, as far as the software developer, you reached into their, okay, that's.
And I reached out to salespeople, anybody I could find. I was sending emails to our consultants. Do you have a behind-the-scenes track? And they would reach out to people, and it was just a matter of they're just a giant corporation, and I was trying to being anybody I could. And I finally got figured out, but it was run up all the way up to their engineer. Like they didn't know what the problem was, so it was up to their engineer.
And they've got ability to look into our system remotely from their location, correct? Okay.
Yeah, our system is in the cloud.
Okay.
We don't have it here.
Yeah, my question may be for Beth, but how much do we have invested in this product? Because it's been issues from
Can I address that, or it's in our private act that we will use Chronos?
specifically Chronos?
Yeah.
If we're going to get to 2012, we got to be there.
It's
That's
in,
why
it's
we're
in all the private acts,
1981.
all of them.
Well, it's a computer system, but it's not specifically Chronos, is it? Because I'm all for automating.
They put Chronos in.
I'll go back and look at that, okay. But still, how much do we have invested in Chronos? Do you know?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if you would or not. It just seems like we've been having this same conversation.
We don't have issues
Yeah,
with Chronos. This is
At
the
least.
only issue that I've had with Chronos since I took over,
12 I can verify.
5 years ago, 4 or 5 years
So
ago.
the issue's only been going on for 5 years?
No, this issue has only been going on since July, where I haven't been able to refresh. Other issues that I've heard about is just either we don't have the time, the resources,
The developers tell us that.
No,
this is
Yeah, and if I could speak to this, because Mr. Long and I have discussed this for hours and hours and hours. We have, first I'd like to say we have some great success. If the trustee was here, and they're at training this week, she would tell you she loves it. All of her employees are on it, and it's running like a top, and they love it. So when it's all set up correctly, it's beautiful. We've had trouble with staff wanting to implement. The telestaffing specifically has to do with our scheduling at EMS, and the sheriff can chime in if you want. They're not there. When they schedule their employees, and then how they pay, they would like to schedule their employees, and then operator one comes in, and I'm on the schedule, and so when I say I did my schedule, it rolls into I work my hours and I get paid. But that module is telephony. And that's where we're at. We're working on focusing on EMS. And it's the scheduling module with the Chronos, if I'm understanding correctly, that it is the issue there. And that's the one that we've stalled on because we focused on EMS to try and get them over the hump. Like I said, we have some that are successful.
EMS functions fine. He still has to use a spreadsheet for his payroll because EMS doesn't pay under FLSA. They pay in addition to FLSA, same as Sheriff's Office. So their system, their setup was done before they had these new changes, where if somebody had taken vacation, they still get overtime. Well, that's not within the FLSA umbrella. So that's why he still has to use a spreadsheet. And that, I didn't mean to talk about all of
as
this
you
stuff,
see, there's
but-
all these different rules, and EMS is special because they're in and out and they have overtime.
Yes. But the consultants were actually going to start with the Sheriff's Office because they had a lot of, I was trying to help them clean things up to maybe have it be more useful for them. They were going to start with them. Because EMS did function fine. It's just he still has to use the spreadsheet because of the overtime setup. And so they were going to meet after the sheriff for the consultant.
So, I would say if the law director, if you could send us an email to verify that we have to stay with Chronos to answer the mayor's concerns.
Okay.
That would be great, if you could research that. But I do believe that we would have a lot of departments that are happy that, and then we would be starting all over with where we would need to go. And I can't imagine wanting to even begin to think about that.
A lot of what has taken so long is we're doing it all in-house. And we've had a lot of turnover since 2015. So that we keep restarting.
When you say doing, you mean the implementation of Chronos in-house? Okay.
Yes, we've done it all.
Beth is being very nice. We've had employees that touch the parameters and mark them wrong. I've audited the Chronos reports. I don't know if you've ever seen them or if anybody's ever seen them. There's a lot of little ons and off switches, and we've had employees that are no longer with us that touch the switches and touch them the wrong way. And that caused a lot of our grief.
We have that documented.
They're no longer here. I don't know. You know how these walls talk. I don't know. This is what I was told. And so right now we have invested our faith and given all the toggles to the consultants and to Annette so that nobody touches them the wrong way.
So it's locked down in terms of who can input, who can change.
Yes, there's like 3 or 4 of us.
At a master level.
You're the only one that's administrator, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That should stop it.
And that's not my only, like, we don't have a dedicated Chronos person. It's under me, but I am the payroll benefits. I do the administration for Munis system for that. So when there's changes, like this whole big beautiful bill, it's causing us some angst. But I'm the one that has to reconfigure all of that. I'm the one that figured so we just don't have one dedicated person. And so that's another, why we got these consultants on board to help focus on just Chronos.
Can I ask a question? I mean, I know we're in the search of a director of finance here. Do you have your thoughts articulated, memorialized, when the new finance director starts, and I hope the committee agrees, that first 90 days should be to figure out where we're going on Chronos, because we've got to move forward and get this done. But you're saying this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Do we have a consolidated list of what needs to be addressed, and if that person picks that up, they can run with it, say, in the first 90 days? Well, I know we used to get a department list of those areas that have implemented Chronos. We used to get that, and I would recommend we continue to get that. It gives us a good visual. But inside of that, there are unique problems for each department that need to be memorialized so the finance director can work with you and others to put the right priority on those unique problems for each department. I mean, and I know you live it every day, but if you walk out the door tomorrow, we may not know that, exactly what is left to be done with Kronos. So that's just a request, and if you do it at your leisure, be thinking about some kind of document that helps the finance director get off and running on Kronos.
And they have been paying for this project for the past 4 or 5 years, basically on their own.
Yeah.
David didn't have a lot of input.
Well, maybe that's not, maybe we need to change that. Maybe the finance director should have more input into what we do.
Yeah.
And so that's.
And this committee is gonna probably need to step up because we have 2 departments that have said that they will not implement Kronos. So,
We should devote to them.
Circuit court and the.
I haven't heard otherwise from them. I don't know if they've changed them.
You say circuit court, which judge?
Yeah, circuit court clerk.
Oh, Catherine.
She got it
so
wrong.
at this
Got it
point,
wrong.
we are just, not implementing for them. We've got enough other work on the table. But at some point, if we're going to ever get this done, this committee is going to have to address it.
Well, this committee's not walking the carpet every day, the county building. Most of us, you are, but you're not voting on the committee. So, I mean, what we could work through are visuals and what you need in terms of resources and some type of schedule of what needs to get done when. And my guess is that the new finance person, when they're selected and hired, will work with those 2 departments, maybe in a little different way than David did. And we'll see how that comes.
Yeah,
how
we'll take
works
that
out.
later.
So I'm not sold that we'll have 2 that won't implement it at the end of the day.
I think they'll move forward.
Yeah, I do too.
Does anyone else have Kronos questions?
But I appreciate all your hard work. You do a tremendous job. Thank you. Thank you.
While we've still suspended the rules, do you have any Kronos input?
No, but that's been working.
They tried.
She's got our boss yet.
Very good. Excellent. And then the purchasing.
Just one final question, real simple one. Your role as senior manager, payroll?
Well, it's called senior
On
manager.
your chart, you're considered the senior manager,
She's
payroll?
our third in line. It was David and then myself and then another.
Then her, okay, excellent, thank you.
So for the purchasing policy, the reason I asked for this to be on here is there are a couple of changes that have been made. There was a resolution for the bid limit, and then this committee passed, a change to blanket purchase orders. That, along with the exhibits at the back of the current purchasing policy, which are really out of date, I would like to incorporate the changes that have been made and update those exhibits. I know there may be some other things that need to be updated. I know, one thing we may want to look at is in here in a few places is, requires an authorized signature or something like requisitions, that sort of thing. We'd like to look at maybe changing that to department head or their designee instead of just authorized signature. And the new finance director may have more changes they'd like to make. These are just some things that I would like to see done myself. And I have had, Mindy Curry, who's our accounts payable coordinator, working on updating those exhibits. So, that's just that. Y'all can let me know how you would like to proceed with it. And we can bring back, an updated copy if you like.
So I make a motion, we have had redlining of, the purchasing policy before, of things that we have voted to update. if you could at our future meeting, whether if you have time, next time or the time after, I'm not setting a deadline for you. If you could, I would like to make a motion that you bring us back what you're proposing. I know you said that you have a couple of items and some that we have voted on that have not been implemented, and just let us see a red line of what we're talking about, and then we all have time to look it over. And also, if you could send out to department heads such as the sheriff's office, the mayor's office, the department heads, and ask them if there's anything that they would like us to address at this time, such as their purchasing levels and that sort of thing.
I know David was looking at P-card limits, and updating P-card limits at one point. I don't know if we got to an answer, but he was recommending some adjustments to P-card limits.
I think he just made those
We
adjustments.
went through and cleaned those up, some and lowered them, where we felt it was necessary.
Where you lowered or changed, did we communicate with the P-card holder that that's been changed?
And if I can interrupt for just one moment, I've made a motion. Can I get a second on the asking finance to come back with a red line before we go into the part?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I'm sorry. I just want to clear that up.
Yes, our, accounts payable clerk that handles all the key cards, she communicated that with the department or the department.
And while we got you, and I know we talked about the training of the library director, can you give us a quick update where that's at? And I've seen some email traffic. Looks like it's underway, or at least it's been scheduled.
We are meeting with them Tuesday, I believe at 2 o'clock in our office, with everyone except for Millersville. She had a scheduling conflict, and we're meeting with her on Thursday.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing that.
Too cheap to keep them.
One other item that wasn't on the list, but I would like to just mention briefly. So there was a bid that was done, I believe back in October, for a lift at EMS. The bid was awarded, but it was not to the lowest bidder. The lowest bidders wanted to protest, and he sent an email today to all.
And can I stop you there? I think that this is a legal issue, maybe if he's protesting, and I think it's something you might need to.
Legal's already dealt with it, and we said there's no merit to what he's,
Okay.
appealed.
I just wanted to make you aware, he did email the commissioners, I believe. David had responded to him before he left, and, indicated that because he had a model number listed in the bid that was valid, that any change he wanted to make would be a change. It wasn't just a minor informality. The vendor's claiming it was a typo, and that he considers it minor. David did not consider it minor. This gentleman said that, if he doesn't get a response, then he will elevate it to the county commission or purchasing committee for administrative review, and if needed, to the state level oversight and audit functions that evaluate whether counties are actually following CPA and their policies. So I just wanted to make you aware that.
So he's planning on putting a big legal bill. Is that what he's?
That's his only recourse
Yeah,
as far as
for him.
my feedback is, yeah, that's exactly where we're at. But, to Beth's credit, we wanted to bring it to you also that somebody was addressing it. If you wanted to direct it to go somewhere else, we'll do whatever the committee's will is. But I've reviewed this, David and I had discussed it at length before he left. Basically, if we accommodate this guy, there's never going to be a completed bid when the process is over. Everybody will be coming in, oh, well, I meant.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this guy was the lowest bidder, right?
no.
Yes.
He was.
Yeah.
It was the wrong part number. That's what it was.
So, I mean, to me, and this is just me kind of looking
And
outside.
I would caution you, if this person is threatening to take legal
Let
action.
me finish here. Hang on. So, if the person is doing a lower bid, you know, they usually it's $1,000 difference, right? Is it, I mean, and would the product be as the same quality as the other vendor?
They're the same product.
Same product,
part number, but the wrong part number he put on there was a valid part number. So when we got the bid, we really don't know which number that amount's going to, the correct, once he brought it up, is that the correct one or the incorrect one? So basically what's happened is he improperly did his bid, he made some mistakes, but that's not the county's problem to bear, it's my legal interpretation of this, and if he wants to saddle up and make it litigation, that's the only recourse I see for him, because I couldn't find anything statutory that requires us to address this group.
Yeah, and I'd agree, and ask to move on with our agenda, because if they would like to come and address this committee, they're welcome to. They can come and address the commission or anything else, and until then, let's move forward.
Sure, thing. On the other vendor, were there any administrative errors on their bid?
From what this gentleman, stated in his email, there was a spelling error on the winning bidder's name at some point. I have not reviewed that.
Yeah, so let's move forward. If they do present themselves, we can.
I mean,
That's the end of your.
if that part was a valid part, then he could be misrepresenting something, and I don't, I
So
don't
until
see
it comes before us,
merit to that.
I appreciate your update. I'm good to move forward. Do you have any other items for us? Thank you. We have no old business. Under new business, we have moved Austin Hendersonville to our next meeting. We have the emergency purchase orders. Ms. Browning, could you walk us through the mayor's, the mayor's here. Mayor, could you tell us about your,
My understanding, this is informational only.
I
We
believe
submitted
so.
an emergency purchase order and got the problem fixed. That's all I have.
excellent, at $12,000, I'm not all that concerned. Can you tell me what the problem was, just briefly?
Flood.
It was a flood at
First pipe at the old General Sessions Court. Sheriff called, we got Serpro out there, get it cleaned up, good to go.
thank you. EMS had problem with their HVAC.
Yes, and then that was supply storage and,
Okay. That was an emergency because,
to prevent loss of medical supplies.
very good. Did you get it fixed for them in time? Did they get it all taken care of?
As far as I know, yes.
Excellent, good to know. Motion to adjourn?
So,
Did we vote on that?
No. Actually, when you come to the end, Robert's rules say when you get to the end of the last item, you actually are adjourned without even an emergency.